Welcome. There's a few people that are here for the first time. And you're welcome at any point if you want to, just to wave your hand, because then I can see it on the screen. I see movement. And then, yeah, and if you'd like one-on-one attention, just wave your hand like that. And you don't have to have a question. You don't need a reason for it. Just a chance to sit and rest with each other. So that's one of the possibilities. Otherwise, enjoy. Oh, thanks.
Hi, Isaac.
Hey, Thomas.
Hi. That was actually something I would like to explore with you.
Sure.
Yeah. Um, And at the moment, my heart is beating a bit fast.
If you need some time, just rest. There's no rush.
Yeah. Actually, it's funny. It's what I would like to explore is maybe also a bit going on at this moment.
Mm.
Um, it has to do with um, you know, with this how do you say it? Like it's again opening up for me that this like you could say um, this being awareness or my heart or and but I came from a period where there's a lot of uh, unsafety, you could say, in my system, and 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 I feel there's this ability again to rest and to trust, like but not trust like but on a deeper level.
Mhm.
And if from that point of view, there's not a problem, and everything is, you could say, clear.
Yes.
But there, it seems that there's like this residue because there was so much unsafety for a while that there's this residue of um, like how can this be there? And on the other hand, in the world, but also I saw in myself, like in so much unsafety and so much like if my own mind was for a while, it was, yeah, you could say like hell on earth for a
Mhm.
bit. And now that's like, it's like it's on a deeper level. I could see I'm not that, and it's not here. Like,
Mhm.
it's clear again. But there's this fear again of losing consciousness. But I could even see like when there was a lot of clarity, there was still consciousness.
Yeah.
It's like how to reconcile this deep love and peace with like what's going on in the world, like and sometimes inside myself, how to, yeah, something like that.
Big question.
Yeah.
How it seems to me, I can't
Mhm.
say that this is the way it is, but it seems like as there's a resting, things that have been compensated for or suppressed start to come into view. So it's a completely natural process. There's nothing we have to, it just happens by itself. It's just it's like to the extent that the system is um, knows that what arises is not you, then things can come up. But it doesn't mean that when they come up, because a lot of what's going to come up is old information, like old existential information. So when it comes up, it feels like you're going to die, or it has that same quality. And of course, then it can be, quite a ride, because like usually when there's existential information arising, the system wants to survive, because that's how it's wired, So a lot of that's why it can be very useful to be in community or in communication with a field where that can have space just to come and integrate like that. So that's the first part. The second part is what's going on in the world. I mean, it's my sense is, it's like for many people, there's a recognition that there's a lot of things happening that don't have the general population's best interests or freedom at heart. And it's like, in that seeing it can feel overwhelming. It can feel like, wow, there's nothing I can do about it. Or wanting to do something and not knowing what to do, or just, it's so big, it's just where, and then, and at that point, it's too late to go back to sleep in a certain sense and not know what you know. But so then the question that you ask arises is, like, okay, I see what's happening. And, I mean, I guess it's no different than finding out, we all know that death is waiting for us. But, sometimes we get a diagnosis from a doctor or something. Okay, look, you've got a few months. And, then there's a whole process that happens where people have to face, okay, look, now, this is what's happening. And, it's like how to be at peace in the midst of it. So, and the recognition too that by being at peace is in my view, the most beautiful and the best thing that we can do for what's going on.
And it's also like what I saw in myself, but going through this intense process, this intense suffering, I could see, like, in one part, it was caused by my own doing, unconscious, but caused by my own doing in a certain sense. And this suffering also pointed me even more straightforward to
awareness.
Awareness. But it's like how do you to say it's like suffering is God's plan or something? If when so much is going on, it's also like, I don't, it's so difficult to communicate this in relation to all this suffering or something. It's
it's like, again, just speaking about as it's unfolded in me, it's like when there's suffering and all of a sudden the suffering doesn't even exist. There's a clear seeing that the suffering is optional, that it's not real, actually. And so it doesn't mean that it doesn't feel real when the nervous system has made that little movement of going into an existential way of functioning. Because that's not something we do. That's something that happens, like you said, automatically and unconsciously.
Mm.
It really has nothing to do with us. It's just like, we touch some old information in the field. I don't even know if we could say even in our nervous system, but just in the field, and our nervous system responds by going into an existential way of perception. Yeah. Like, I could die. So, and at the same time, there's this recognition, actually, even if dying is happening, my interest is being peace. My interest is resting in what's true, what's real.
Yeah.
And so,
Do you think there's you need a certain watchfulness for that, like attention?
no, I don't. My sense is it's just something that happens.
Mm-hmm.
I could say it's a maturity in my view. It seems like, I don't think that, this watchfulness.
Yeah.
When I tried to be watchful,
Mm.
I found I could sustain it for a few seconds. But then there's like a natural watchfulness that
Yeah.
is just there all the time. It's just like,
Yeah.
yes, there is awareness, yeah. And it's, but where it goes into an effort, I didn't find it sustain itself very well.
Yeah. Yeah.
So for me, that's why I like to call it a love affair. It's just like, okay, we're here, we know what we love, okay.
Yeah.
And to me, that Rumi poem, even if you broke me about 10,000 times, come again, come again, come again. So it doesn't matter if it slips into a different mode, it's like, okay, the moment it's recognized and the interest arises again to,
Yeah.
okay, now I know
Yeah.
I know what I'm interested in. Then it just naturally kind of
Yeah.
course corrects, so to speak. Yeah. So
Yeah.
it's not really even a doing anywhere along the way. It's just, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And so now lately it's like I recognize, it's like this this love for love is coming up all the time, and
Yeah.
but it's also like it feels like, okay, that there's like a watchfulness or there's something else coming up, but then I think it's almost not like I have to think sometimes what you say, like it's like your ex knocking on the door, and do you open, like that.
Mhm.
Yeah, but yeah, yeah, yeah,
So, it's this, and it's like this funny, like with what's going on in the world, we know about it through these days, the internet mostly, maybe newspapers, maybe TV, whatever. And, it's like there's an interest to have a kind of like an overview, but it's like a balance, because we can get so fixated on wanting to look at everything that's going on, and we'll never know. And the
yeah,
truth of it is, and for me, the recognition that it's the same intelligence that's playing every single part.
mm,
So I have no idea what it's good for. I can have an overview of what I think
yeah,
is going on, but
yeah,
I don't think we ever really know what's going on. We don't even know what's going on in the spotting activity. So it's like there's that. Yes, we're here on a planet, and there's seasons, and there's day and night, and there's a certain season to plant, and there's some practical stuff, and yeah, then there's what we call civilization or governments or politics and money systems and
yeah,
like the craziness. And it'll play out however it plays out.
yeah. But I can feel also now when we're resting, it's like, from here, it's, yeah, it's, yeah. Yeah. Thank you, Isaac.
Thanks, Thomas. I mean, beautiful question.
Yes.
Yeah, and just for fun, if you like, let's go to gallery view for a second and just see if anybody got any value out of it or it was useful for anyone. So it seems like there've been a few people who got some value. Yeah,
Yeah.
cool.
Thank you, Isaac.
Thanks, Tom. Hi.
Hi, Isaac. Lots of times there is a filter of harshness, and looking at it or investigate doesn't work. And another time we look together, and then immediately it would turn around. So that's what I like. It softens. But I would like to be able to let it soften when I on my own.
That's, to me, that's an interesting idea to explore because it's really the basis of it is this idea that we separate totality.
Can you repeat that?
The the basis of that thought is that somehow we separate from totality. You know, on my own, there's a me that's separate. So it's like, you know, to give a silly example, is like I'd like to be able to exist without needing to breathe, so that I can do it on my own. You know, like something like that. Because it's in a way it's the same. You know, we one. How can I say this? Just that we have the sense of me and on my own and independent as an independent doer.
I would like to feel different and not feeling on my own, but feeling
Yeah.
the
So
everything.
okay. So we hear now, and this sense of feeling separate, it doesn't exist when we're in deep sleep. It exists in the waking state, or maybe in dream state too.
I know it is possible. I had glimpses, but
Yeah. So we just sitting here, we just, like the interest is here. So we just see what wants to reveal, what wants to show itself, yeah? So there's this, you could say, traditional inquiry. Who am I? It's just really taking time. Who am I? What is me? Thoughts and feelings come and go. That can't be who I am. So they transitory, yeah? They come and go. So we just using that inquiry, yeah. Who am I at the deepest, at the core? What is that?
I can feel we are one.
And whatever that is, that's one. We can't describe it. We can't say where it is, what it's made of, anything. Well, it's just like the deepest knowing of, okay, everything that's coming and going is not who I am. All perceptions, all feelings, all ideas.
Thank you so much, Liza.
Thanks, Sean. It's like it's never that kind to have the concept that we're one doesn't really help anything. It's really that deep seeing that opens up, and then there's a knowing of it. It's not like it's a if it's a concept, it doesn't do much. D'accord.
Hello, can you hear me?
Oh, yeah, I hear you and I see you.
Yeah, my internet connection is a little slower today, so it might just letting you know.
Thank you. Where are you?
Slovakia?
Slovakia, okay. Seems like a lot of the questions have dropped away.
Yeah, like a while ago, there was like more stable recognition
Hmm.
happened,
Yeah, beautiful.
and yeah, yeah, I want to thank you like
Hmm.
for everything.
Hmm. Very happy to see how this is deepening and expressing. Beautiful.
Yeah,
Actually, good.
thank you.
Esther. Well, I'm not sure if that's Andrew. If that's Andrew I'm speaking to now.
I'm Andrew. Hi, Isaac. This is Mike. Hello.
Hi, Michael. Hi, Michael. Hi, Andrew.
Nice to meet you. Michael's heading off shortly, but I just thought I'd firstly say hello and firstly thank you, Isaac.
Yeah, really nice to meet you, Andrew.
Nice to meet you, and I'm looking forward to your retreat.
Yeah, fantastic.
I've got a question around just going through a phase in my life where I feel like I've lost a lot of ambition and motivation and drive for any type of career or work.
Mhm.
But at the same time, a fear of providing for the future for my five and 3-year-old
Mhm.
children and my wife.
Mhm.
Even though there's a part of me right now that just wants to do absolutely nothing. Yeah, that's what. Yeah, so there's a conflict
I
I was wondering,
understand. Yeah.
yeah.
You know, we've been, if you like, just if you center your computer or whatever you're on so that you're in the center of the screen. You know, for the moment, Michael can still see it, but then we have a sense of looking at each other. Yes. Otherwise, it looks like, yeah, cool. So, you know, somehow this interest came in you, Andrew. And in it, you know, like there's quite a lot of things that start to show themselves, reveal themselves. We've grown up in a culture with this idea that we are the doer. And it's so unquestioned in our culture, you could say it like that, yeah? So, you know, but we have glimpses and we have, like John Lennon said it so beautifully when he said, you know, life is what happens while we're busy making other plans. And we recognize like the poetry of that and the truth of it in a way. But still, you know, that sense of being like, I'm in charge of my destiny. I'm the doer. I'm, you know, like that. And so, as long as that's there, there is that conflict. Because, like, you're in the process where there's a lot of like peeling away of old conditioning, of old paradigms. And so in that, I think it's, anyway, I think it's for many people, this losing interest in what was once interesting, it just happens, it just falls away. And it can feel even existential. It's like, wow, how am I going to survive? But what, you know, but it's like, and it, you know, like concepts like, oh, it'll, you know, it'll take care of you all. It doesn't really help much. Because it's, you know, it's not experiential. It's just like, okay, something, the conditioning says, then you got to buckle down and take care of these kids and do your bit and all that stuff. And something else is going, wait, but actually, if I'm really honest, I don't want to do anything at this moment. So, so at this moment, you know, it's just like if you consider that bodying activity that we usually refer to as my body, as if it's mine. Whereas in actuality, there's an activity going on of trillions of cells, most of which we have no access to at all. We don't even know what they're doing. It's like this combination of bacteria and viruses and human cells and all the stuff doing it's incredible dance, you know. It's unbelievable how, you know, I mean, trillions of cells there doing this dance that's expressing as life at this moment. And then there's a little activity that, you know, should I have a cappuccino or latte, that thinks it's in charge of everything. It's, when you really look at it, it's funny, actually. Somehow in how that whole ecosystem, this whole body activity that's going on that is never separate to totality because it doesn't exist without air. So even what we call the body, because we've been taught to think in terms of nouns, yeah? So we say body, but it's not a noun, it's a verb, it's the cosmos, yeah? It's our whole thing doing its dance. And then there's an activity that we call I, or me. And it's interesting that that activity that we call me, it's not consistent because it goes away when we go to deep sleep. It's gone. But then when waking up happens, like an activity of thought kicks in, that, and it's interesting to watch. You watch next time waking up happens, or when you come out of sleep, and just watch what happens. Is like these thoughts come up: where am I? What's going on? Who do I owe money to? What do I have to do today? It's like a familiar cycle of thought that's been very conditioned. And within those thoughts, a certain feeling arises that we call me. If those thoughts stop, then there's just a sense of presence, yeah? Different perspective, different. Because as those thoughts kind of do their dance, it always comes with some sense of stress, some sense of there's a me that's in time. Yeah. So that's, you could say, what we used to. Well, it's like this usually doesn't get questioned because it seems like, okay, yes, of course there's a me. And I'm the doer, yeah, it's like that. Anyone that tells you anything other than that is full of it. But, it's like, so we're looking, and I think everything I'm speaking, I can see you know it in your own knowing. I'm not telling you anything you don't know. I'm just maybe presenting it in a way that's giving you access in a different way. But so at this moment, there's a presence here. And if we talk about that presence, you can see that within that presence, then there's an activity that we call thinking. It's trying to figure out what is that presence or whatever. And so that's going on simultaneously to the presence just being here. One way of describing that presence is like endless space in which life is appearing. Thoughts, feelings, perceptions, the information of the moment. Yeah? At this moment, the usual sense of I, does it feel as solid as it usually does, or it's feeling a little less solid?
A lot less solid, yeah.
A lot less solid, yeah. So we can see just from that if it can so quickly become less solid like that, then it can't be real. Yeah? But yet it's like it's a point of view that our system has been functioning from for most of its life. So it's almost like learning a new operating system in a way, it's because it's like somehow breathing is happening, the heart is beating, digestion is happening, so many things are going on, and we're not doing it. You're not in control of it, it's just doing its thing. Yeah? And somehow there's a trusting, and kind of we don't pay attention to it because it's just like there's a knowing, it's just going on in the background. We don't have to do anything. So, you know, it's interesting because it's like life is doing its dance. And then, you know, like different ideas come across our screen. Or you could say like an interest to go to a retreat. Okay, cool. How do I do that? Okay, I gotta press this button and make this booking or whatever it is. And suddenly we're going to a retreat. Or whatever it is, or you know, a job idea comes, or you know, some way of contributing to life that produces a reward, you could say, or an exchange. But where do ideas even come from? Where does these interests, or you know, how does life happen really? So in a way, you know, it feels like the programming that your system has received has been to take care of your kids and to take care of their needs. And I would say that'll probably do the job, you know, without you needing to be too concerned about it. And you're in the process at the moment, you know, this other interest has kicked in. It's there's not much you can do about it. You're in that flow of it.
Yeah.
You know, the sage Ramana Maharishi would say, whatever's destined to happen will happen, and whatever's destined not to happen won't happen. And it's a funny way of speaking it, but it's like life is just happening. You know, the example that makes a lot of sense to me. When you go to a fair, you oftentimes see these rides for little kids where they have like these different vehicles, tractors and planes and trucks and stuff, all on the track, going around, and they've all got steering wheels, and the steering wheels aren't attached to anything, but the kids love holding the steering wheels and turning the steering wheels. And that's how we are in a certain sense, like kids thinking we got our hands on the steering wheel that's not attached to anything. It's just like life is doing its thing, you know. So
Yeah.
life is like, I mean, we've seen, like, you know, here we all were going along, and then all of a sudden, whether there was an actual pandemic or wasn't, who knows? You know, there's a whole bunch of bullshit around all that stuff, and then, but suddenly people were losing their businesses and their homes. They could do nothing, and you know, people survived, or they didn't, or they found another way, or they did whatever they did, and that's we're always in that boat. You know, there were people living in Ukraine for how many generations, and suddenly, oh, we're at war with Russia. But hey, we didn't say we wanted to go to war. No, but you are, and you better put on your uniform and go fight. But hey, I don't want to fight. No, you better, otherwise we're gonna. It's like in life, it's crazy, yeah. So we think we have control, but really it's just life doing its funny dance. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, surrender.
Well, I mean, it's at some point there's a seeing of, because of the conditioning in you, there'll probably be something all going, yeah, surrender, but you know, I really do need to take care of these kids. So that's going to be the play for a little bit. Well, well, that's a fire in a way, you know, because it's like, oh wow, something just wants to let go. Let's see that it's useless anyway. This worrying doesn't do anything. It only, you know, doesn't do anything at all. But yet something wants to worry and wants to be concerned, you know, about it. But when we really look at it rationally, does the worry actually do anything? No, actually not. And so then it comes down to look if you can, if somehow your system has been programmed to take care, no matter what the circumstances are, it'll find a way to do that. And so, or it won't. It's really not in our control that I can see. See, it's so interesting because this idea of surrender, it's like who or what is going to surrender? There's presence that is already here, and that doesn't have even the idea of surrendering, it just is. Isn't it? Yeah, it doesn't have that concept of surrender even, doesn't it? Yeah, it just is. And as we're resting here together, we're not really doing anything. I'm not telling you anything you didn't know. I mean, and yet just something's happening in consciousness. And you can feel it in my body, like my hands are tingling at the moment. I don't know if you can feel that in your body, but usually when I've noticed that, I've noticed that that's a releasing. That's like at a physiological level, the nervous system is letting go of old information that's not necessary. You sense any tingling in your hands, by the way? I'm curious. Yeah, cool. Any more questions or anything else on the screen?
That's wonderful. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks, man. Yeah. Again, just for fun, Andrew, we can just, was that useful to anybody else in the Sangha? Just you see, it's like, doesn't matter who speaks, it's like we're all in the same boat, and that's what I can see. It's like, it all feels very personal, but in truth, it's not. It's just, Hans.
Hi, good morning.
Hey, Hans.
Since the retreat, I was a little grieving actually, because this whole mental construction I had, it feels damaged. And I tried to pretend it was still there and normal, but it wasn't actually. But I think my body was feeling very numb, and I thought this mental construction has nothing to do with the body. I recognized it has an interaction with it. It feels shocking. It's getting entangled, but it has nothing to do with the body actually. And that was a great recognition, because on the other hand, I start more to feel then this awareness is there, and it has a nice effect on the body. It immediately felt like joy and kind of unknown interaction with the unknown. But it's totally new for me that this mental construction has nothing to do with the body. That's totally new for me. I really thought it was the same some kind of the way, but it isn't. I think it isn't.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm so happy with this vulnerability, actually.
Yeah, it's like we look out and we see a rainbow. Someone that's colorblind might not see a rainbow. An animal that has different eye structure might not see a rainbow. So does that rainbow even exist? It's like, so there's this, there's a structure that, what's it made of? Conditioning and trauma and culture we grew up in, whatever. And then is it real? Does it actually even exist? It's just, it's like.
Yeah, all the time it feels like the screen is kind of wiped out, I realize there is nothing there. I see something, and then I realize, oh, no, it's nothing. And then it's wiped out again, and more expansion is coming, and yeah. And the strange thing is that normally I was thinking that there was a kind of interaction with people actually, which was lovely, but maybe it is still there, but it feels more like there is an interaction with myself now, which is lovely, which is totally different.
I get it. I get the distinction.
Yeah.
In some ways, it's just like patterns interfacing with patterns.
Yeah.
And there's nobody there.
There's nobody there. And it's not that I disagree with it or something. It's not that I don't love it. It's just that there. Yeah. I cannot deny it. I cannot try to get rid of it or something. That's all not the point anymore there.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Then what's left is laughter. Right?
Yeah. Can you say I love you from out of this point? I cannot really say that.
I mean, how it seems to express here is just so there's love. I mean, there's just love flowing. It's just like But I love you. It's like, who's the I, who's the you? And that's always feels like a light in the end.
Yeah, immediately, strangely enough.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was bothering me a little bit about my relationships I have, of course, with the people around me.
You know, somehow if their ears want to hear I love you, let the tongue speak it. It doesn't much matter, you know, it's like we are such liars anyway. It just seems funny to me. So anyway.
Yeah, I understand.
Yeah.
Well, my whole system has to get used to this, I think. There's so much movement going on. Yeah.
Monica.
Hello.
Hey,
Can you hear me okay?
yeah, you're perfect.
Yeah, it's been a bit funny. The internet here too for some reason. So, talking about the I love you, I wasn't really going to speak, but because now it's not there, but it's kind of there. The pattern's for me like a spider web, it's just kind of there. And so, last session or last satsang, I was having my pattern really strong, and it kind of just like just sitting in with you and but it was different, a different flavor. But I've realized that there's just one identification for me. It's a little bit different, you know, like spiders, legs of a spider or something, but there's just like one main body, and it's like the wanting to be loved. And it's so strong in me that it causes me so much suffering.
Okay.
And I recognize it. But
so
yeah.
let's just play with that for a second. Okay. When someone says I love you, what does it mean about you? Wait a second, and now your sound has dropped out. I don't know what happened there. You're on muted. Say something so I can see if I can.
Is that better? Is that better?
Yeah, that's better. Now I hear you. Yeah.
I hit a button. I must have touched a button. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know, so someone says, look, I'm really upset with you. Is it you they're upset with?
Yeah.
Is it, obviously
No,
it's not. Yeah.
but then,
Yeah, it just, you know, it means that something happened in them that's being projected. And it's similar with love. Someone says, I love you, but then the next moment they say, I hate you. Or I don't want to be with you anymore. Or I thought I loved you. Or, you know, I mean, it's like it's so fickle. It's such a fickle story.
Yeah.
But so now coming back to this yearning to be loved, let's see if we can take that, go deeper into that.
But the funny thing
So-
is, Isaac, people can say that they love, like, they can say that they love me, but I still question it, and I still don't
Of
believe it.
course,
Yeah.
of course, because something knows that it's conditional.
Yeah, and then you keep looking for, you know, if you acted this way, that means you love me, and then, but you acted that way and you don't love me, and it's just this constant looking for
Yeah.
proof of being loved, and then, but then
Yeah.
because the other side of the coin, Isaac, is that when I'm not loved, then I really, really suffer, because then I feel like I'm unloved, and then it's worse. I walk through the world
Okay.
feeling like I don't belong. It's crazy. It's crazy. So there's so much
Yeah.
to it. Yeah.
Yeah. So you know, look, if we, in our childhood, you know, it's like many of us were conceived without planning. And so when our parents found out, okay, we're pregnant, the first thought was, oh shit. You know, this is a problem.
My mom tells
So-
me that all the time. Yes.
So, you know, like, and it's like, so you could say that's an imprint that many expressions of life that we call people have. But then, you know, it's like, if our parents had a dualistic focus, they wouldn't have felt us. They wouldn't have really been able to see us. They would have seen us through their ideas of what we were, which meant that they didn't really see us or they didn't really feel us.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, and so the information, you know, if it was optimal, life was optimal, then our parents would have had the information in their nervous system to know that all was well, that everything is okay. You're okay. It's okay. All life, it's all okay. If they never had that in their nervous system, they couldn't give that to your nervous system. So most of us never got that information, that all is well. And so that shows up later in life as we'll know all is well if we get a sense of somebody really loving us. So it gets entangled there. So what it's actually looking for is to be seen and to be felt, and to come into contact with a nervous system that deeply knows all is well.
Yeah.
Nothing has to be different, because that information is not something that, it's not mental. It's really, it's like, you know, like hooking up two computers, and the computer just downloads that information. So that's part of what happens in these meetings, is that people get, you know, I could say people's nervous system gets new information. So, you know, it presents as, yeah, I can see there's this old habit of wanting to be loved and like that. But, you know, it's like, all that is that the system doesn't have the information that all is well. It just doesn't have that information. So as we're sitting here now, because, you know, like through that filter, it really feels like there's something wrong with us. Like all is not well.
Yeah. It's really bad.
But, you
and it
know,
can spiral out
but our thinking keeps putting it on, oh, it's because I need to be loved. but it's a projection, it's a thought projection. It's not true. So while we're sitting here, just resting together, not doing anything, if there is a sense of being seen and felt in this moment, so just take a moment and get a sense of whether you feel like I see
No,
you
the
and I
internet's
feel
really
you.
bad though. I can be bounce. Pardon?
So in this moment, the internet connection is a bit flaky, but anyway, in this moment, just get a sense if you sense that I'm seeing you and I feel you. You know, that's nobody can tell you that. That's just something if you're looking to see, and you look for yourself, see, feel for yourself, and feel okay. Is he really with me? Does he want something from me? Is he objectifying me, or is he just feeling me and seeing me in this moment? And so just you're starting to make those distinctions. And if you have the sense that you've seen and felt in this moment, just feel what happens in your nervous system, in your body. Just in that sensing that, okay, I'm seen and felt in this moment. I can be just the way I am. There's nobody that wants me to be different or doesn't need me to be any particular way. Just be here and just be like it is. And you just see how that
Like
feels.
all the but it feels like all the times that I believed that thought, or all the times I've thought that thought, it just needs to come out. It's like a lifetime of thinking that. I feel like it's just in me, just sadness, like.
So we've moved away now from just being here. Okay, just to notice. That's okay. Just taking a moment to see if you're seen and felt. That's all. And, you know, like you're in the field now with all these people here tonight. And everybody, to the extent that they can, they're just resting and seeing and feeling. It's an unusual field. I mean, mostly when we move in the world, everybody sees us as objects and they have ideas of who we are, and they have I like, I don't like, and all this. In this field, that doesn't play so much. It's just more arresting.
I'm just finding it hard to rest. Like I know how to rest, but I just can't rest.
You don't have to rest all the moment. At the moment, don't concern yourself with resting. Just getting a sense of whether you've seen and felt. That's all. You're just discerning. Just that simple discernment.
I don't see it in the moment. I don't feel it in the moment. No, I know that you see me. I know that you've seen me in the past and that you've recognized me, and it, it changed my life. But because like you said, I felt love for the first time, like really means not love, but the deep seeing that no one had seen in me, and you gave me that, and it changed my life because just
come back. Just come back to this moment.
I can't do it now. I can't be in the moment now.
Okay.
It's
So
too
where
emotional.
are you? If like your attention might be elsewhere, but where are you? Your attention might be moving to the future and the past, but that's not your attention. Isn't who you are. That's your attention. You're here.
Yeah.
So let your attention move. It's doing its dance. It's running here and there. It's okay. But you're here and you're aware of that movement of your attention.
Yeah.
And that awareness doesn't take effort. It's not something, it's not a doing. It's just inherent, yeah? You just feel what that recognition does to the nervous system, whether it calms it down or it speeds it up.
Yeah, that's obvious. Yeah.
Oh. and just feeling the flow, how these nervous systems meet in this moment. It's safe to be. Don't have to be any particular way. You don't have to do anything. Just exploring together in love with love, beauty, peace, whatever you want to call it.
So yeah, in actual fact, it's just an emotion or a sensation that pulls me away, not that whole thing that I thought before.
Exactly. Beautiful.
Not wanting to be with whatever's going on, so just going into this. I've got to do this. I've got to do that. That'll make it better.
And even that isn't something that you do. It's an automatic movement. It's just like it happens very quickly now. So if we find out our system is frazzled and our mind is running and our attention is going everywhere. But it's not a doing. It's nothing we do, and if it was up to us, it wouldn't happen. So we can see it's just like old information coming that in the moment didn't get noticed, and so it plays, it does its thing until it gets seen again and it calms down.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I still find it hard to do it on a daily basis, just to be present.
You know, that's just an idea. Don't have to go with that idea. Really.
All right. Thank you.
Yeah, so welcome. Yeah. Nice just to get quiet together and rest. Yeah.
But it's the believing that I'm doing it that, yeah, makes me think I can fix it. So yeah, so I'm not doing it. It's just patterns. Just let it. Yeah. Not personal. It's not my fault. It's all that. Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
That's a relief.
See, it can go from freak out to laughing in seconds. That's what's so beautiful, you know. So we can see the freak out is not real. It never is.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks, man.
Move on to somewhere.
Vilma. Hey, Michael.
Yeah, Isaac,
Hey.
is it okay if we just sit a little bit?
No, thoughts?
It's like, if I can just say, it's like this kind of funny feeling that consciousness is always happy, while the patterns can be really like something completely different.
Exactly.
But the consciousness is always happy.
Plus, I think you were hosting tonight. Thank you. Thanks, beloved. Good night.